Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's episode. I'm Nico Farah, your host, and this is the Emergence Show. If you're new here, welcome. We talk about latest and greatest in emerging tech and immersive experiences. And today we're going to talk about a very important topic, something that we all need to care about. We are all spending a lot of our time in digital spaces like this call, social platforms, Zoom calls, all of that. And we need to really step up the game of bringing that closer to the physical reality. And that's where the virtual worlds come in. And our today's guest is such a knowledgeable person. Has been building in this space for years. I have known her for a while, and I've seen her great work that is just getting better and better. And people are actually realizing the power of it. So thank you so much, Charlene, for being here. Please introduce yourself to our amazing audience, and let's get into it.
Well, thank you, Nico, and thank you for having me. We are connected through a mutual friend, Gabriel Fernandez. Shout out to Gabriel. And Gabriel is very supportive of women in tech. He's an incredible champion for me. I see him being a champion for you all the time. And thank you, Gabriel, for getting us together for this interview. Nico, we're going to get into a lot of who I am and what my background is during this interview. So just for simplicity's sake, I'll say that I'm a visionary who is very curious. And I kind of started getting rewarded early on in my journey into tech by being curious and kind of venturing into worlds that I really truly didn't even know. And when you build your own roadmap without trying to follow what somebody else has built, you stumble upon things that are just so unexpected. And if you really listen, I don't know code. I do build websites. I've built directories and B2B commerce solutions, but mostly with a team. I don't do a lot of it myself. So technically, I don't have the background to build a platform like this. But I had the heart for it because, I am a mom. I am a professional. I am a female entrepreneur. Those are all things that pose different challenges. And I didn't even realize that I was building a single solution that solved all of my own challenges with one solution. It allowed me to kind of bring all my worlds together. So I didn't have to, we're not in an era where we can afford to separate our work life from our play life, from our business networking life. Life is so responsive in real time. You kind of have to learn to be one human for all of your worlds. And I feel like this new era of tech is really giving us the ability to be all of these facets of ourselves simultaneously in real time. And it was through building these technologies that I uncovered the magic of serendipity. And it's a word that I love. It's a word that is a manifestation of the fact that you are exactly where you should be. And that might not be where someone else is, but that's okay because we're all on our same journey. So our own journey rather. So I don't know if that gave you an answer.
I appreciate it. No, I mean, this is a very, very good overview of how we should think about the stuff. It is very challenging as a female entrepreneur myself. I know what it takes. And yeah, this is why I do this show and, bring a spotlight to amazing thought leaders like yourself. But yeah, let's get into your journey. So you were in the optical industry. And I remember in the beginning of the Web3 boom, we had a conversation and you told me all about the amazing worlds, virtual worlds that you were making as a continuation of great work you were doing in the optical industry. And here you are doing that for all the other industries. So I would love for you to give us just an overview of your background experiences to where you are now and, what sparked this kind of generalization of your work.
Well, thank you. And yes, I am still very much active in the optical industry. I work as a business consultant. I work as a social media and website and e-commerce designer. So I definitely still provide solutions to the optical industry, but it is because of the challenges First of all, it's important to know, and a lot of people know this is my story, but I'll just remind everyone, I worked for a company for 20 years. That was at the moment that like 7, 8 years into my career, which was about a 20-year stint, there was a major company that was really going on this interesting curve of acquisition. And I was watching the industry get impacted by this acquisition kind of journey. But then this company acquired my company. So I got a very close look at what rapid acquisition looks like from the inside out. And I already knew the impact it was having on my industry. But now I started to see what were the catalysts of that. And I had to make a decision. A lot of people are actually talking about this now, but this is still a thing, 8, 9 years ago. It was this moment where you're 20 years, 15 years into your career, and you say to yourself, is this really who I am? Is this really who I want to be? Like, do I have to stay at this job till I die, or can I start over? And it's very scary to start over when I was top I was one of the highest paid women in my entire industry when I resigned. And I don't really have a very strong academic background. So normally when you're at these executive levels, you need a bachelor's or, a master's to get into the same types of roles with the same type of pay. I didn't have that. So I had to really take this leap of faith and believe in myself. But I'll tell you, Nico, the biggest reason I did it was I love my industry, and I wanted to be known as a champion that fights for better resources. Let's just say that. And I didn't really know what that was going to look like. I just knew I wasn't seeing it from the perspective that I was in. So I felt like the only way I'd be able to really understand the challenges that the independent sector had was to resign from my position and just go and do that. And that's what I did. My family supported me through that. About 5 years in, we were just about to approach the pandemic, and I had innovated quite a bit. I had developed my digital marketing company, which is a inbound sales enablement company, the only one in the industry that does inbound marketing and sales enablement for opticians and optometrists. Because let's not forget, they're brick and mortar businesses. Local businesses back in 2016 and 2017 weren't thinking about enterprise level strategies such as e-commerce, inbound marketing, sales enablement. As a matter of fact, I joined the Sales Enablement Society as one of my first things when I became an entrepreneur, because I do believe very strongly in sales enablement. And I went to these meetings in the city, in these skyscrapers, with TD Ameritrade and MasterCard. And there were no small companies with sales enablement, employees here. That small companies don't have a sales enablement department. They barely have their own sales process. So my company was founded to actually deliver sales processes and make enterprise level sales strategies more accessible. But I was way ahead of my time. Nobody was interested. It was very challenging, and I had to stay alive. I built an e-commerce solution called Optical Near Me right around 2016, 2017, which was kind of like probably the beginning of that metaverse journey for me, because I built the logistical infrastructure before I built the technological infrastructure. So I knew all the players in the supply chain that were independent wholesale labs, independent frame manufacturers, independent opticians and optometrists. And all I did was build technology, directories, e-commerce solutions, virtual try-ons, sound familiar? Integrated inventory systems. And I had this idea that I would go to the consumer and present this cohesive, frictionless solution to the consumer as an answer to e-commerce, because many people in the early stage of 2016, 2017 were just beginning to buy glasses online. Buying prescription glasses online is very new. It is very new. And there really has never been a solution to the challenge of, if you're a consumer, you don't really know your posture, you don't really know the right types of lens material that you have, but yet here you are self-serving, buying your glasses, you probably know very little about these different terms that you're reading when you're checking out what's polycarbonate versus high index, what's an anti-reflective coating. Like,
Yeah.
but yet here you are making these decisions without any support. So the vision of Optical Near Me was, let's make the support accessible through video portals where again, I was pre-Zoom on this, okay? But that was the dream, right? And I had it so close, Nico, but what I was missing was the buy-in of the industry. So I actually built a virtual trade show platform with like early stage tools at the time. So like Zoom was like so horrific that in a 30-minute Zoom call, every person dropped off and joined at least 5 times. Remember those days where like we're all talking through the glitch, right? It was definitely not as clear as it is now. We were all pixelized, right? And that virtual trade show exploded during the pandemic. And that was when I got to see mass adoption of virtual technology. Now, mass adoption for me was a couple hundred, couple thousand people. But when you're with a couple hundred, couple thousand people imagine if 100, 300 people were on the screen right now, that would be overwhelming. It's not nearly as overwhelming as 300 people in a convention center. So it was then that I started to realize the metrics of audiences and a term that I now affectionately call return on attention, this behavior that people have in these virtual live video environments is very different than what they do in real life. And I became a place that taught the culture of video conferencing. And we just experimented together as a community. We had nothing better to do. We were hanging out in our pajamas trying to figure out the future during this whole pandemic era. And we did education. I got approved by the ABO, which is the licensing body in my industry for opticians. And we were able to give people actual certifications for their education during a moment when we couldn't be more than 6 feet from each other. We were continuing to give education to people when the world was shut down. The conferences were not there. And when the pandemic was over, I noticed something very interesting happened. We kind of went back to this. It's kind of like the world was split. 50% of the world thought we're going to stay virtual. And 50% of the world thought we're never doing anything virtual again. Thank God that's over. It's physical all the way. And I think if we passed out jerseys for the physical team and the virtual team, we would have had a very matched, amount of people on each team. But I decided we have to respect the benefits of both. And we also have to respect the people that prefer either or. And so I made it my mission to be the bridge to connect the two worlds together. And believe me, there was no roadmap for that. I'm almost done. There was no roadmap for that. There was no blueprint for that. But I had this idea that if I can create an environment that my industry was very familiar with, which was a trade show, and make it look very, very real, which is why we ended up with Unreal Engine. It was the realest technology to make it look real. The hypothesis was, if we can get people who don't like tech, who prefer physical, people with the physical jersey, to come in and hang out in a cool virtual environment, would they be willing to put both jerseys on? And the answer was yes. So that's kind of the beginning of the journey. To answer your last part of that, how did we end up with other industries? They just simply came. We became a metaverse platform on accident. I wasn't trying to become a metaverse platform. We were rising in awareness on social media, mostly LinkedIn, at the time that Facebook was announcing metaverse. People called me that day and said, I think Facebook stole your idea. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Facebook has their own way that they're going to do this. But we all know the rest. The rest is history. And I think industrial borders are gone in these 3D worlds. And so it gives us opportunities to collaborate and work together and learn from each other in ways we've never done before. So my focus has just been facilitating that.
I love it. I love that you are trying to bridge the physical and digital. Often people think that we have to do only one, and that is a misconception, because in my opinion, personally, it's like virtual is the next best thing you can have. If you and I don't have this opportunity physically to be together, why not using these platforms and have great conversations and build connections? So for those who are still thinking physical is better, yes, it is, but it's not as accessible. I appreciate all of that amazing, powerful story of this not easy journey. Let's say
Yeah.
hi to our amazing community, Ian, Gabriel, Chris, everyone who is tuning in. We appreciate you. Feel free to comment. We love your energy. We love your comments and questions. We're just getting started. So tell us about this Omniverse city. Kind of like, what's the vision? What are you planning? Give us all the high level. You can share your screen as well if you're ready. And then we're going to get into more specifics about it. But what is the overview of it?
So before I share my screen, what I'd like to do is I'd like to share the very first thing I ever built in Omniverse City, because I think it's important for people to understand how we got here. So let me know when you're sharing the screen, Nico.
Yeah, it's shared.
So again, I mentioned that we built this 3D space. This was an interior. I didn't know that we needed an exterior at the time. I was just thinking real 3D world for a trade show, and I hadn't really thought much beyond that. But the adoption rate and engagement level when I added the 3D content was profound. I spent 2 years trying to get people to care about video conferencing software during a time when we had no other options because we were in lockdown. But this got people excited. People I didn't expect to get excited. Don't forget, we're talking opticians and optometrists here. They do not get excited about gaming. They're not gamers. I mean, if you look in our industry, we're not even selling gaming glasses in most optometric and optical offices around the country, yet gaming glasses were designed and developed in Omniverse City 2 years after we built this beautiful trade show. So now not only are we building trade shows like we did here in this example, but we're bringing in manufacturers and distributors who are being so inspired by the fact that they're understanding now that the consumer has an appetite for this, that they're re-innovating their products and they're bringing products that were in their 30-year pipeline to produce now. So they're literally changing the roadmaps that they have to provide more innovative products now because they can see that this is what people want. So that was kind of how we started. Then, of course, the adoption rate was so great. I thought, I can't stop here. I've got to show people that there's going to be more. So that was when we built, I'll go back there for you. And I'll share this for now because this is the latest evolution of Omniverse City. We just kept building. We didn't stop building. We took the feedback that we got and we built again and again. If you look at our website, you could see our roadmap of where we're going, but soon we're going to launch the timeline of where we've come. So after the trade show, we built New York City around the trade show because I love New York City. And one of the biggest trade shows in our industry has always happened in New York. So I had this theory, Nico. The theory was if I walk the participants of the trade show through the city to get to the convention center and they see the stores, will they sell my own idea to me? The idea was obviously get a store, right? But I didn't tell anyone you can get a store. I just let them see the stores because I wanted to see if they would sell my idea to me. And they did. They said, wait, can I get one of those stores? And the answer was obviously yes. But I had never built a virtual store before. I had just begun to learn merchandising in physical shops through my wonderful friends like Wendy Sally of Sally Opticians, one of the most incredible optical shops in the country. When you go to Georgia, if you want Cartier, you go to Wendy. Wendy taught me about luxury optical and merchandising and all the different products that are out there and so many others. I learned from Jason Kirk from Kirk and Kirk. Like I learned about all that stuff, but now we had to do it in virtual worlds and there was no rule book. So we got to do whatever we wanted. My first store was with Bruce Carnahan. Bruce Carnahan is not somebody you would expect to see building the very first store in a 3D world like this. Bruce has kind of lived his life and he's been around the world. He doesn't have a store in real life. He is a consultant, he's a process consultant. But we built this theory around a retail shop for shopping for new process ideas, books on process. He has, several products that he's designed, including these cool new little temple tips that go on the end of eyeglasses and they glow in the dark. But ironically, these are for seniors and older people who are losing contrast sensitivity. So these glow in the dark temple tips are so that older people can see their glasses in the dark. But a lot of people will put them on to go to a party or if they're going to a glow party, right? So it's it's happening, Nico. It's like people are just dreaming so much bigger than ever before because the technology is accessible. You don't need a wallet. You don't need, we're not charging right now for people to come in. You can just literally click and enter for free. And I'll leave you on this note and I'll pass it back to you. We got a lot of slack for doing pixel streaming and to have a platform that is accessible 24/7 through pixel streaming is not available right now. We're the first ones to bravely do this because we know adoption is going to be very slow, and that's okay. And in about 30 days, we're going to make a big announcement about how that pixel streaming will be reserved for paying clients. And we're going to launch our local download system. So if you want to access all the stores and all the experiences in Omniverse City, you'll be able to download it locally, just like any app that you find on Steam or Windows or what have you, and actually run it for free from your desktop. So we're finally now at a point where we understand the value of pixel streaming for events and for hosting 24/7 retail establishments, and also for brands that want to give an instant access experience to their, audience members. So brands will hire us to host. I wouldn't call them events. I would call them experiences because they aren't going to have like scheduled sessions or anything like that. But maybe a brand might hire us to host a world for, a week or a month. And they'll know how many people are coming and how long they're coming. And they'll be able to allocate that budget in advance. So we've really got a deep understanding of the metrics and the costs of operating these spaces. And that's going to become a gift and a service that we provide to everyone who comes so they can really build with the knowledge and experience required to build sustainable worlds.
Wow, amazing. This is like true innovation. A lot of things that you're saying are ahead of the curve. People really took the time to realize the importance of them. Amazing, amazing work. I'm sure there has been challenges. So I want to get into some of the challenges of building something this amazing and also bringing people into it. But before that, I want to touch on a couple of comments we're getting. Susan is saying all the shows you have spearheaded, she has had a great experience. Ian is mentioning that these virtual worlds are great for A/B testing, which is totally true. And maybe we can get to some examples about that as well. So our amazing community, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comment section. We are having a very cool conversation. So let's get into the challenges, and then we're going to get into some more specific industry examples. So tell us what has been the rough times of this journey.
Well, I think being a parent and being a mother and having a child that is like an overachiever and active, in all sorts of sports and trying to be a good present human in my own personal life, while having to work as hard as you have to work I'm trying to say this without crying, to build something like this.
Wow.
And
you're amazing.
I'm sorry. I'm going to get through this. Reminding yourself that Wow. Although you're not in a position to be fully present while your kids are growing up.
I'm sure they're proud of you. I'm sure even if they don't understand it now, they're gonna
And
be very
the
grateful.
hardest part, I'm going to get this out. The hardest part, Nico, is the people that you're helping don't know enough about how important what is doing. What you are doing is that they truly appreciate it.
Yes,
And you have to be willing to just not be upset by that and to not be discouraged by that. And I
100%.
am so blessed that I have people around me that are fighting hard too, right? Um, and they help me with honest feedback. I see Chris, right? Chris, the first time I met Chris in what was the Omniverse city at the time, first of all, I was referring to people who came as customers, and he's like, I ain't down with that. No, you got to build this and understand community. And of course, I did understand community, but I was thinking more from the I need to get money, I need to get sales, I need to build stores, we need to do retail, money, money, money. But then I took Chris's advice and the rest of the people in this metaverse space, and the metaverse is beautiful. Don't be fooled. Don't think because big tech giants failed to steal something away from us that we already had to begin with, that this is not an amazing space. The natives, the real people, the founders of this space, Nico, me, Chris, Gabriel, Ian, we might not be billionaires in dollars, but there's other currencies in this space that we really have to be mindful of. And it's those currencies, Nico, that have got me through these challenges: friendship, heart, integrity, honesty, freaking perseverance. And I've had failures and I've had disappointments. I've had people that I've trusted that let me down. I've had to deal with heartbreak that was so terrifying. One happened very recently. I had to face my whole industry with a smile and say, look, I made a mistake. Like I trusted somebody I shouldn't have trusted, but I'm not going to stop fighting for what I believe in, because we all make mistakes. We learn from them and we fight together. But here's the beauty of this space, Nico. It's very transparent. It is very transparent. If you make a mistake, you better be ready to say, I'm sorry, because there's nowhere to hide. And that's okay. We have the cancel culture of social media doesn't exist here, because we've all had to fight through challenges to survive. And we don't do that to each other. We might give feedback, harsh sometimes, but we don't make people feel bad for being innovators. That imposter syndrome gets checked at the door because it doesn't belong here. We are the real deal, because if we weren't, we wouldn't have technology to show that. And by the way, everyone here has their own piece of it. I see Ian. He's building these incredible sneaker technology, and it's this space that inspired him. He's building the footwear of the future, right? Oh, write that one down, and the footwear of the future, right? And I see Chris, he's got this amazing robot experience. I mean, robot experience. Why do people want robots? Well, you know what? Chris is helping people that have mental health challenges, and some people are just depressed. Maybe we do need to make fun of ourselves just to have a little bit of fun. This space is such a place of detox that we really have to get ready to breathe fresh digital air and enjoy the space together. So thank you, Nico.
Love it. I mean, this has been how a lot of folks, whether LGBTQ community, we talked about neurodivergence, a lot of folks have found peace and, escape from, a lot of the pressure of the society by coming and finding the way they want to express themselves. So that's why like fashion is such an important part, because you can be whoever you want, you can dress however you want in this world. So really powerful. Thank you so much for all the amazing love and energy you shared with us. Let's talk about some of the maybe boring stuff about like the industries. So can you give us some of the examples of use cases that, I know beyond the optical industry, you have onboarded folks Tell us about some of those examples, or if you can share a screen or anything, of how a physical business in the physical world has transformed the way they're doing business with the help of Omniversity or other virtual experiences.
I actually have a really good example of that. So, about a year and a half ago, um, we had built almost every possible use case in Omniverse City. We had fashion shows, we had convention centers, offices. I mean, we started building these one cool, fun, like mushroom lands, festivals, you name it. But people weren't really navigating the space well. If I would take them on a tour, they would be like, oh my God, I never knew there was anything past the city. I was blown away. Like people would come, look at the city, check it off kind of like a destination on their bucket list, and then move on with their lives. They didn't know that there was this big, beautiful world to discover. So, what I started doing is with my clients that had points of interest, destinations, if you will, in Omniverse City, is I built these domain pages because I realized the gap of users, and I'm talking about technologically advanced users, were really struggling with how do I navigate? Where do I go? And nothing helped. I tried building cool little like kiosks where you can find little portals, everything. They just navigating virtual content. It doesn't really have a Google yet. If you think about it, if you had to explore the internet without a search engine like Google, it would really be challenging for you to go through the zillions of websites that are out there. So Google's very helpful. And now, of course, we have, ChatGPT and other ways to do this. But in the metaverse, we don't really have a search engine yet. So I actually am working on that solution. But before that, I needed an immediate solution. And I thought people like websites. Websites can be interactive. And this ended up becoming an actual product of our company. It was a solution that was evolved into a product. We call them domains pages. And the concept of domains pages, Nico, is that this is your domain where you can connect all of your worlds, physical, virtual, Roblox, Fortnite, any, Google My Business, anything that you want to connect, you can connect here. Now, this is the domain of Dr. Sidel Legrand. Dr. Sidel Legrand, probably if I was to count her channels, has like thousands of channels. She is a leader on the Chamber of Commerce of Lake Nona, Orlando. She is Florida. She has 2 successful practices in Florida. I think one in Tampa and the other one is right near Tampa. She had a virtual practice and a telemedicine business when she met me. Her telemedicine business was MyMD to Me. It is. And MyMD to Me is an innovation that she created without the metaverse. So she didn't even know about the metaverse. And what she did is she went to hotels and negotiated with them this option for parents that have a kid who's sick and they don't want to take them to an urgent care, getting care in their hotel room with this MyMD to Me with a local doctor that can meet you virtually and come to you physically. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant model. And when I met her, I was actually exhibiting, thanks to Christopher Lafayette of Gatherverse. He allowed me to, for the first time ever, exhibit my company. I had never exhibited Omniverse City before. And it was the first time I'd really shown my platform to anyone outside of the industry. This was 2 years ago. And it was epic, Nico, because it was like at Disney World. Oh. So I'm like inspired by Disney launching my metaverse. I'm like, oh my God, Disney, you're giving me so many great ideas. And it was just, well, I'll tell you, when I went into the hotel room, it said, welcome Nichols family. And I was there alone. So I cried because I thought, God, am I ever going to be able to afford to bring my family to Disney? And 2 years later, me and my husband did. We went back to the same hotel. So it was like, I really thought this is like a moment though where I had to fight because Omniverse City didn't have the revenue it needed to stay alive. And Dr. Legrand hired me to build what she called a medical metaverse. I learned about 90 days into that project that she really didn't have a lot of experience with the metaverse. She had met a lot of people before meeting me. And in order for her to hire me, she had to fly here, which she flew here to New York from Florida. She got a Airbnb. we had my lawyer Zoom in. She wanted to meet my lawyer. This is a doctor, don't forget. She's a licensed medical doctor. So she didn't want to hire somebody to build this medical metaverse unless she knew that they were qualified. And I got to tell you, Nico, I was totally terrified. But we met with that lawyer. We signed the deal. We're 2 years in. And this is what Altogether Lovely is now. You can come in, you can join a membership and get kind of like a virtual Club Med. So you can join communities. You can have a one-on-one meeting with your doctor. Now she has this amazing new product that she just brought in where you can actually get 24/7 monitoring, just like with your watch, but this is connected to a doctor. You can have telemedicine visits with her. She's going to be hosting group meetings. And I'm going to see if, I know you said no live demos, but let's see if we can make it happen. She just presented this to 200 medical professionals in Lake Nona talking about the future of Medical City. And she was one of the only doctors there that had an AI-powered meta-human sharing this experience where let's face it, if you've got something wrong with you that you're really uncomfortable talking to somebody about face to face, you can go and speak to Lovely. She's not going to treat you or heal you because she's not a doctor, but she is going to listen to you and she's going to triage you for Dr. LeGrand and her team. So when you speak with Lovely, and it looks like we're having a little bit of a lag getting it live, so I'll give it a couple more seconds and then we'll assume it's not going to work if it don't work. But there we go. So you can just tell her anything, and as you can see, my history here is saved, and I could say that I have a headache and she'll triage me. And then once I get to a certain point, she'll let the doctor know, hey, you've got Charlene was here. She had a headache. She's not a patient. What would you like me to do? And maybe Dr. LeGrand would say, well, I really want to see if I can set up a call with her. Can you see if she's interested in signing up for our program? So Lovely would send you an email and say, okay, here are your sign up options. And now she's going to be trained to provide those options on demand. So after speaking with Lovely, she'll say, okay, let's get you set up with a membership, and then you'll be able to sign up for a membership.
This was a great use case. We often think about more tech solutions for tech industry, but now looking at more impactful aspects of building that, connection, because we got used to some calling our doctor during the pandemic, but now having this face, having this kind of human-like feeling, that really helps people to ease into the conversation too. So that's really powerful. And Rebecca is saying that, this is great for cancer patients. I'm looking forward to connecting. Amazing. I love this example. This was awesome. Thank you for sharing. Let's talk about
one last thing, going back to Anne's point about A/B testing. Dr. LeGrand showcased Lovely next to the largest hospital in that area, who had this amazing AI, which looked exactly like a human. And when Dr. LeGrand spoke to a lot of the doctors there, they actually preferred something slightly less human. So this way patients are not confused that this is an AI. And so that I would have never thought that would be an element of user experience to take into consideration. But now we could say to doctors, look, you can have something real. We all know there's programs out there like Synthesia and HeyGen and so many others. And I'm sure there's millions more coming out that can basically make twins of actual doctors. But it seems that doctors prefer a less human looking interface. So that was kind of an interesting takeaway I had.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we are seeing labels on the images and videos created by AI. So that getting that differentiation clear is very important. So thank you for sharing that. Let's talk about, kind of how people can get involved with all of this. Are you guys providing real estate, kind of virtual real estate, we've seen in Decentraland and Sandbox? Mm-hmm. How is this different? I know you talked about zoning licenses to me privately, which I would love to kind of expand to our audience, and kind of how the community can come and engage.
Right. So first of all, humongous nuclear shout out to Jay Pilipovich of LuxXR. When I met Jay about 3 months ago, so this is very new, I had a working model in Omniverse City. You came in, you bought your build, it was a 5-figure investment, a 1-year commitment, and then there was like some maintenance costs after that. We realized a lot of people really wanted to be in this space, but they didn't have, even though we stage it out in payments, 5 figures to invest. But these things do cost money to make. They're not free. They're not easy. There's a lot of platforms out there that make it so free and so easy that people don't get beyond that free build experience. And beyond the free build experience are monetizable 3D environments that don't need, frankly, the trickery of virtual real estate. Okay, because where are we getting these values from, people? So we definitely 1,000,000,000% are not using real estate. These are licenses, because at the end of the day, we all have our own IP, and it's worth something. It's the reason why someone's going to charge $300 an hour versus $20 an hour. Now, there's different reasons why people charge different things for their time and for their presence and for their attention. Sometimes it's their experience. Sometimes it's their knowledge. Sometimes they're just smarter at figuring out how to present their value. And there's tons of people out there, myself included, who don't really know how to ask for their value. So the first part of the answer to your question, Nico, is you buy as much as you believe you need, but we are going to be launching master classes to educate people on very simple fundamentals, how to build a brand narrative. Because let's face it, even if you're coming here as an individual, you don't have to be a business. You don't have to have a functional brick and mortar to turn this into a business opportunity. We have tons of people coming in. I'm going to use Ann as an example. And by the way, Ann did what he was doing long before Omniverse City, but we're going to work with Ann to give him a larger toolbox, a souped up lemonade stand to get out there and really sell his product in new and innovative ways and exciting ways. We have people like Bruce Carnahan, who's developing these, glow in the dark temple tips for his frames, and people like Michael from Kazoku Lunettes, who is going to be working with me to sell his product all over the world to retailers that want to have a luxury eyewear and clothing collection. And this is a real physical, successful business. So we have people from all walks of life, but everyone here starts where they want to start. And most people start with the free license, because that gives you more time to get in. Now you might say, okay, well, I can get in for free by logging in. Why do I want a free license? Well, the moment you get a free license, you're going to receive a reward. And in the next 3 or 4 days, when we launch OCX, Omnicoin Exchange, you're going to be giving money, OCX, in-game currency. So just to be very clear, our currency is an in-game currency. So you're going to be receiving in-game currency, not crypto. So it's just to be clear, that you can spend in Omniverse City. And OCX is going to be the primary way that people pay for extended time here. So you will have, and again, you could just look at any one of these levels to see, what this includes. Hold on.
So when people purchase or select the category, then they will be able to select what region and area they're selecting to?
Yes, very good question. So real quickly, just to get my point to be a little more concise, Jay comes from the gaming world. So these prices are based on very popular gaming pricing mechanics. If you look at Roblox, you look at Fortnite, they all basically have a free license where you can pay for assets, and then you can buy memberships. I think Second Life is a really good example of this too. You could buy memberships that give you more access. So at an individual level, you can buy an OmniFolk or Omnipreneur. I believe most people are going to start here. So $300 a month or $450 a month. And this is like a tremendous value. you're getting a 3D store interior at $299, and you're getting a 3D store interior exterior at $449. And we have tons of templates. However, we're going to have builders. We're going to have omnipreneurs building stores and publishing them for people to buy in OmniCast. So builders are going to be able, just to make sure you guys are hearing me here, builders are going to be able to come get an omnipreneur license for $40 a month, build 3D stores however they want, and publish them on our marketplace so that they can sell them to other people. Okay. Right. So talk about that for a minute, Nico, that opportunity alone. And here's some of the spaces. These are all spaces that Jay has built. So if you have a spatial space, you'll be able to build a space in spatial, export it, import it to us. We have a conversion tool that we've built that can convert that Unity asset into an Unreal Engine asset. And then you'll be able to publish it for sale. And this is affordable. People will not mind paying $300 for this gorgeous space, and then their $300 a month for their all-in-one virtual marketing kit, which is essentially what you're getting with that $300 a month.
Wow, that's amazing. So you're basically creating an economy where people can create value as not just for themselves and their own business, but also for other businesses by showcasing their talents. So that's really powerful. Amazing. Thank you for sharing all of that. And we are seeing a lot of engagement from our amazing community in the chat. Ian, Gabriel, Ope, Yemi, I'm so grateful for all of you engaging and talk about community building. This is the true power of community, and hope you all can check this out. We are kind of approaching towards the end of the conversation. I'm just so loving the conversation, but let's get into kind of like what's next. What are you guys planning to do next after this? What are some of those visions that you're working towards?
So I've got several dozen projects that I'm currently under an NDA with that are building epic, I mean, truly epic community expansion programs. And you asked a really important question last time that I didn't answer for you, Nico. You asked, do they get to choose their area? So the first place that I showed you with the 3D Convention Center, that's what we call Genesis. Genesis is a place where you can go if you're not going to be bringing in huge communities. You don't want to grow and scale. You don't really want to do gamification. You just want to have like a little event. You want to host a 3D space. You don't want to be where all the hub is, all the like vibe is. That you're going to want to go to Genesis. If you have a community that's just discovering 3D exploration, or maybe just you want to stream from the space and not really host a big game or a big community, you're definitely going to go to Genesis. But Odyssey is what I'm super excited about. So there's 5 districts in Odyssey: A for arcade, B for business, C for creative, D for developer, and E for entertainment. And when you get a Omni Stream or OmniCast license, you get to choose which district your space goes into. However, if you don't have a building that you choose, we'll place you into a building. But you're going to have, in other words, like those skyscrapers are all community buildings, essentially. However, let's just say you have 20 other entrepreneurs like you, and you guys all want to build like your own little, kind of like a DAO, right? You want to all get together like a little, I call it like a virtual chamber of commerce, right? A VCC. You could buy together a community controller license, because this comes with existing OmniStream and OmniCast domains. It comes with equipped office spaces. So you can split that cost with your team, kind of like fractionalized community building, and you own that building. Now you can charge and rent the spaces out. Maybe you've got 10,000 people who are subscribed to your building that are all fashion experts or entrepreneurs or manufacturers and distributors. you might be able to sell that office for $1,000 a month because it comes with the community. It comes with the utility. So really what we're putting value in, Nico, is the utility that we're all bringing, the value that we're all bringing, not the digital asset itself. That's just a vehicle. Those are our little rocket ships that get us where we need to go. But we, each and every one of you, me, you, Nico, and everyone who's about to come and join us, that's where the value is. And I just love that people are in control of their own value. If I die right now, I swear to God, I will be at peace because I know I delivered something to the world that even if someone copies me, I really don't care. This is the model of the future, giving people power to take ownership of their own IP, their own data. Oh my God. We haven't talked about data, Nico. I want to toss it back over to you so you can bring us back so we can close off on that. But owning your own data is so powerful, we don't even know we don't have it. But the moment you realize how much data you distribute every day to other people who make money off of that you get no access to, it really gets you hungry for owning your own data so that you can decide who gets it and how much they're going to pay for it.
Love it. Yes. I mean, us in Web3 have been talking about this for a while, and this is definitely a very crucial topic. So going back to the vision, what is next that you can share, and what can we all look forward to?
So shout out to Christina Bruhan from Continuum. And I just mentioned 3 people during this call, just to recap: Bruce Carnahan, Dr. Sedella Grand, and Christina Bruhan. They were all about, we're going to have a graduation ceremony. You'll all be invited to welcome them as our first ever domains that are going fully live. They've been live in stealth mode, right? They've been in, and that's the beauty of Omniverse City. You can actually include your community in your MVP. It's kind of like your own little Discord, right? You can bring your community in your MVP. We have secret back channels of non-AI harvested, super secure, super private social media communication channels, essentially. So you can build your community in stealth mode, get everybody excited, bring your investors in, build your own data room, get people stoked, avoid your information from being leaked to potential competitors. Because a lot of times when you build your platform in Discord, in Instagram, in any of these other platforms, everybody has access to it. You can't hide it. But here you can hide what you're building until you're ready to show it to people. And I have some people who don't even want to bring their projects to public. They want to keep them in private. So you can build private projects here. And so all 3 of these individuals have been building pretty private projects that they're now confident they want to release to the world. But Christina is doing something very special with Continuum. Continuum is the OG Web3 community. These are cities. These are countries. These are DAOs. This is the CFTC, okay, which I only recently learned about, right? Are you familiar with the CFTC and the role that they play in digital asset regulation? This is some stuff, okay? But Christina knows the real data points. She knows what you should and shouldn't do, okay? So nobody is going to be able to bring any project of any kind that has crypto or NFT or any of those related technologies without presenting it to Continuum. We have a 3-stage authentication process for all Web3 tech. First, you get approved by Christina. She makes sure that you're legally compliant and I'm legally compliant. So guess what? I'm good. Second, you go through our tech team. They look at your tech. They make sure what you have is stable and ready for Omniverse City. And I got to tell you, Nico, 100% of the tech that's been brought to me has not been compliant. And unfortunately, when you tell a developer their platform's not compliant, I'll fix it for you, they go back into hardcore DIY mode, never to be heard again. But we do provide the resources to fix your stuff if it's not ready. Because the reason we know how to build architecture that's compliant with real-time tech is because we are real-time tech. You can't, there's no studying, there's no Discord, there's no friggin' GitHub, there's no Doc Center, there's nowhere to go to know how to build. I mean, Unreal Engine just launched a whole new vocabulary for their script technology that most people don't even know about. My team's already training AI to be verse experts to build in verse before the world even knows about verse. So we're here to be a resource so that you don't have to do that steep learning curve of learning to implement. You don't have time for that. We do really want to be that partner. I think that's very important, Nico, that people know you can build your own platform with us, with your own domain. It doesn't have to be on Omniverse City. You could build a world that doesn't even have an association with Omniverse City. We will white label what we're building for people so they can feel like it's truly, truly theirs. So this way we can get all the fun projects going and all help each other. But when we start launching these projects, you'll see it and you'll hear it and you'll hopefully be a part of it.
That's so powerful. Well, we can all can't wait for that. I can see from our amazing audience being so engaged and excited to get into it. I think you had an announcement.
Yes.
Do you want to get into it?
So one thing I want to encourage you all to do right now, because it's super fun. I've been getting the alerts all day. Go to the omniverse.city, please. Create your account. It's free. You will immediately begin receiving rewards. And when you click those rewards, you'll be brought back here to your dashboard. We've had so many of our legacy users get engaged again. Come explore our blog. Come join. We're watching these awards go off like we're actually watching real-time user engagement. It's absolutely incredible. And so we will be announcing future community rewards so you guys know what you're working towards, but you guys received this reward before we can even announce it. And that is the builder tool. So we'll be sending the email to everyone who is a free tier and above. So again, how you get a free tier is you come into Omniverse City, you create your login, which will allow you to go in and explore the city. Then you have to go to the marketplace. You can go right here to license, and you have to claim your free Explorer license. So you have to go in and claim your free license. And you, along with the several hundred people that have claimed this license over the last 30 days, or actually week, you'll be notified of access to our new builder. And this is where you can go and build, click and drop, no code, Unreal Engine 5. There's only one other builder of its kind right now, and it's with Fortnite UEFN. And what we're doing very differently from other builders is when you build your asset, you can publish it for others to buy, or you can launch it with your own product. So if you're somebody who's a builder, but you don't really have a business, and you know that there's a need for, real estate agencies or flower shops or whatever, you can literally build either the architecture itself, or you could build the business model within it. You can bring your own app technology, or we can even build app technology with you. So to recap, we have a 3D architecture builder that you can use. We have an asset importer where you can bring all your stuff in and host it all as a seamless experience in Omniverse City. We have a full app development team that can build any possible app that you can imagine. And we have a full expert sales enablement inbound marketing team that can help you to, despite your current social media presence, build an incredible inbound community engine to build an authentic, pure community here in Omniverse City, and then bring them to social media. So we're reverse engineering the whole social media funnel.
Wow, really powerful. Thank you so much for all those great tips and instructions. Our community is already excited and all in. Yemi, our amazing digital fashion creator and builder, she was early on in Second Life. She's already excited to build with Ope, our amazing stylist and creator in AI fashion. So there's so much goodness that our community is excited about. Thank you so much for all these great tips and vision that you have brought to life. We talked about before, like Metaverse has been just a hype, but you have really materialized the best use cases and possibilities. So this is really powerful. being an innovator, being a mom, and doing it all at this, time that people are still not believing it. This is really powerful.
Well, first of all, Nico, thank you, because you're giving me, I was actually really excited about this interview. I know that you really understand the space and you understand what we're doing. And I was excited to give you a closer look. And I was excited the way that you were I knew that you were going to position this in a good way. But I want to leave off on this note. I am fully, I wouldn't say self-funded. I used to say I'm self-funded, community funded. My community invests in me, and I use that to return back, and every penny I make goes right back into Omniverse City. 100% of the profits that I make go back into a female founded business. So just know, if you're thinking I need to get my project in front of people so that they can look at my ideas, sell them to other people that are in their network, and maybe if I'm lucky, buy 80% of my company, I don't think that's the only way anymore. You can fund your own dream and build a community around you that will help you. And all of you are invited.
Wow, wow, wow. As Gabriel said, we appreciate all of you. Thank you so much, everyone who joined us in this chat. This was so fun. Thank you, Charlene, for your amazing time, energy, love, all that you're pouring into the community. We are so grateful to have somebody like you spearheading all of this great work. And I personally cannot wait to check it out. Thank you, everyone, for your time. And we'll see you next week, Tuesdays, 9 a.m. with the Emergence Show. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you, everyone. Bye.